Ray is here from Strategy Research to share the results of a recent Fox 10 News Strategy Research poll, and it was related to that awful shooting that happened in Las Vegas. The first question we wanted to know is, do you or someone in your family currently own a weapon? The response we got after we asked 2,000 people, 64% said yes, they do own a weapon. And Jonathan, this number you think is low?
I do. Typically, people are kind of private about home security, and so a random phone call asking you if you have a gun in your house, we're not usually going to see a truthful response. There's a percentage that won't tell us. 70% in the South is what we would expect to see a standard number of home gun ownership. But even at 64%, comparatively speaking, across the nation, that's a huge number of gun owners.
We also wanted to know if people thought that weak or too few gun control laws were a factor in the Las Vegas shooting, and these are the results we got from the 2,000 people polled. 63% said no.
You know, Bob, people will think this is surprising because it was a gun shooting that created it, so why weren't weak gun laws partially responsible? When people consider the question, you have to understand the psychology of people who are being asked and answered. It was a massacre. People were killed. And what you have to contemplate is if this guy wanted to go crazy and kill a bunch of people, whether he did it with guns or a 55-gallon drum of gasoline, an improvised explosion device, or drove a car through a crowd, the question is, do the gun laws stop him from doing this? And the answer generally, not just here in Alabama, but the general answer across the country is no, gun laws are not going to stop these things from happening.
Right, criminals aren't going to obey the law.
Absolutely. That's an excellent point. One that's been brought up a lot is you really expect criminals to follow additional laws. So what you're looking at here is people responding to the incident. Now, could it have been less? Could it have been fewer people? He had dozens of weapons, thousands of rounds of ammunition, modifications that allowed the guns to work differently. So we asked another question that kind of gets more to the point.
Right. Let's take a look at that next question. And we've asked, should modifications which can make guns nearly fully automatic be illegal? And 2/3 of those asked said, yes, it should be. Did this surprise you?
This did not surprise me because we've even seen the NRA just this week come out and talk about how they are going to support legislation to remove what's called bump stocks, which are stock additions to the back of a gun on a long rifle that as the gun fires back into your shoulder, it has a spring action that forces the trigger to fire again. So as it recoils, it fires. As it recoils, it fires. It turns a gun almost automatic. And there's no regulation on this. Elected officials are concerned about this. Regulatory bodies are concerned about this. Even the NRA has come out and said, this is not something that we support. We would push forward with legislation to change it. So to see that the public feels this way, look, if the pro-gun lobby feels that way, I certainly think the public would feel that way. This change is the kind of change that common sense Americans look for when they say, we have a gun problem, let's do something about it.
And they're saying this might be it.
Yes, sir.
Jonathan Gray from Strategy Research. Thanks for joining us.